Hello and welcome to the 30th edition of In the Burnt Orange Corral with Mama Longhorn. This episode we'll be discussing players who have unfortunately placed themselves in the transfer portal. I'll be talking about new coach Steve Sarkisian and his new staff. The addition of Vince Young back to the 40 acres. Welcome back to Derek Herkstetter, offensive lineman, for his 5th year. New recruits since February 3rd for the class of 2021, and also some of the recruits that we have currently, that are 6 of them actually, for the new recruits of 2022. So starting out with a statement from myself that I would like to make. I'd like to address that this is an inclusive and tolerant webcast. We at Inside the Burnt Orange Inside the Burnt Orange Corral with Mama Longhorn will not allow any of our viewers or ourselves to be trolled or bullied in our comment section. If you are being abusive or trolling, you will be kicked off and reported to our host. It's not an empty threat, and if you dislike what is said, or if you dislike the Longhorns, then just go away or don't watch the videos. And no one is forcing you to watch or to be here. No one is impressed by your effort to be rude or troll. I do appreciate all feedback, but hateful or rude comments to me or my fans, or for that matter, towards our Texas Longhorns, period, they will not be tolerated. I just wanted to put that out. And sorry to the and I'm so sorry to the fans. This does not apply to y'all. And thank y'all for your supports and hook 'em horns. So moving along and starting out with the players who have entered the transfer portal. Sad to see these guys go, but I will support them in everything they do and can't wait to see what they do next. So, with further ado, Kenyatta Watson, he was a cornerback, or he is a cornerback. Outside linebacker Byron Bonds. Defensive lineman Daniel Carson. Defensive back Xavier Alford. Quarterback Jaquindon Jackson. Keontae Ingram, a running back. Sorry to see my diddly guy go, but he'll do great things. Cornerback Jalen Green, offensive linebacker Willie Tyler, defensive linebacker Ayodele Adeoye. All talented group of guys, and I wish them nothing but the best. Now, it's my great pleasure to introduce our new head coach, Steve Sarkisian, and his new staff that he has put together. So, starting with assistant head coach, special teams and tight end coach, Jeff Banks, co-defensive coordinator and inside linebacker coach, Jeff Choate, wide receivers coach, Andre Coleman. Now, Andre Coleman was retained from Tom Herman's prior staff. Everyone was happy and excited to hear about this, and so excited to see you back, Coach Coleman. Bo Davis, defensive line coach, associate head coach, run game coordinator and running backs coach, Stan Drayton. He's also a retainment from Coach Herman's staff, and way to have him back. Offensive coordinator Kyle Flood, Blake Gideon, ex-Longhorn player and ex-safety. Special teams coordinator and safeties coach, defensive passing game coordinator and secondary coach, and that's Terry Joseph. Defensive coordinator and outside linebacker coach, Pete Kwiatkowski. And quarterbacks coach, AJ Milwee. And we have director of football performance, Tori Beckton. Welcome to the 40 acres, and I can't wait to see what y'all do with the team. And all I can say is, all gas, no brakes. Love the motto. And all I can say as a super Longhorn fan is, let them do their thing. Hook 'em horns, y'all. All right, and last but not least, I would like to give a very special shout out and welcome back to our very own Vince Young as special assistant in the athletic department, working along with Chris Del Conte. And welcome back our offensive lineman Derek Kirkstetter for his 5th year of eligibility. As many as y'all know, if anyone watched that Kansas State Wildcats game, Derek sustained major ankle injuries in that game and was speculated to see if he was going to come back or not. And sure enough, 2 days ago, the news was handed down that he will be returning. So welcome back, Derek. Great asset to that offensive line. Congratulations to Sam Ellinger, our Texas ex, or he will be graduating this year, but our ex-Longhorn, Sam Ellinger, we wish him nothing but the best in the draft, but he has won the Jason Witten Collegiate Man of the Year Award, and a special congratulations. Sam started off as a little boy, always wanting to play for UT football, followed in his footsteps with his dad. Unfortunately, he lost his dad in 2013. He went on to play quarterback for the Austin Westlake and came to UT and never disappointed us. He will go on to do great things in the NFL draft, and I can't wait to see where he goes. And at this time, I just want to take a moment, speaking of the draft, I want to take a moment to talk about the upcoming draft and scouting NFL combine. Each college team will have a pro day. The combine will take place virtually, but a little differently this year, but it will take place. So, what they will do, starting in March, each team will have a pro day, and each team will have groups of 3 to 10 in each day that they will compete. And they'll have 3 representatives, and they'll be doing their drills as normal. So UT's pro day will be March 11th. And I'm not sure, whenever I find out more information, I'll be passing that along of how if they're gonna televise, how well they do. I will certainly pass that along. So speaking of the draft, it will be held on Thursday, April 29th and go on through Saturday, May 1st. As the day comes closer, I'll also be talking more about our players and the teams that are following them and chasing them. Speaking of that, we do have 8 Longhorns currently in the draft. Caden Stearns, Sam Cosme, Sam Ellinger, Chris Brown, Taquan Graham, Joseph Osai, Tariq Black, and Brennan Eagles. So I wish them nothing but the best. Very talented group of men. And we will see. I cannot wait to see where they land. And can't wait to watch them on Sundays. So, all right. So moving on. I would also like to take a moment to recognize the athletes here and the actions of winter storm efforts performed by Texas area athletes. Sorry, I get a little excited ahead of myself. I always love to shout out when I can. I want to start off by saying thank you so much for these Texas area athletes and their efforts. Michael Huff, ex-Longhorn and former Denver Broncos safety. He personally purchased food and donated it away to people in need. Malik Jefferson, also ex-Longhorn, defensive linebacker, currently for the Los Angeles Chargers, and he also personally purchased food and gave it away to people in need. Quandre Diggs, ex-Longhorn, safety for the Seattle Seahawks, and also personally purchased food and distributed it to families in need, along with Colt McCoy, who is a backup quarterback for the New York Giants. And a special shout out and thank you to the following NFL players who are friends of Quandre Diggs and approached him first with offers for help for this cause. They asked him, "What can we do?" He didn't even have to ask. That's just what people do here. Trey Flowers, defensive end for the Detroit Lions. Darius Slay, cornerback for the Philadelphia Eagles. Bobby Wagner, defensive linebacker for the Seattle Seahawks. And also a big thank you to Texas X wide receiver Ja'Cory Warwick. He's currently the manager of Jay's Hibachi Restaurant. He reached out and offered all these, teamed up with all these guys as well. Miles Turner, a Texas X. He's a Texas X. Currently basketball power forward for the Indiana Pacers. Thank you to his efforts. Miss Charlie Collier, the current Lady Horn basketball center forward. Tevin Johnson, a Texas X All-American track star, and his wife Nicole, owners of the Lone Star Jack's Barbecue. And Marcus Haynes, former UT Arlington basketball guard, currently professional basketball player for the LMB Paris basketball team. And I want to say thank y'all for everything that y'all have done. And I'm sure everyone that you've helped and your communities are eternally grateful. And your efforts will never go unnoticed. And the reason why I want to talk about this so strongly is I always give a big shout out to anyone who deserves it. And I also want to reiterate how important it is to know it's okay not to like sports. It's okay to know that, your opinion on sports may not be your forte. But I want you to know that not all sports people are bad. They always get a bad report about them, a bad rap. They're not all privileged, spoiled people like people think they are. They're not all criminals. They're not gangsters. They're not out here troublemakers. They're people. And finally, they are Americans like we are. And we're all in this together. Texans helping Texans, Americans helping Americans. But I want to say from the bottom of my heart, and a very, very special thank you to these fine people. Moving on now, like I said before, I wanted to talk about new recruits for the 2021 class, where we picked up where we left off. February 3rd was our other signing day. So in this group here, we have picked up Keithron Lee, who is a wide receiver and attends Rudder High School in Byron, Texas, rated as a 3-star prospect. Ray Thornton, outside linebacker, transfer from LSU. Welcome. Bert Auburn, kicker from Flower Mound High School in Flower Mound, Texas. Not rated, but signed as a walk-on. I'm very curious as to the potential. There will be a walk-on for UT. Ovi Ogufu, defensive end transfer from Notre Dame, a former 3-star prospect and a senior coming into the UT program in 2021. Zane Myers from Westlake High School here in Austin. He's an unrated running back. He is a walk-on, actually. Another talented preferred walk-on. I did read where he had a 70-yard run touchdown, so that's awesome. Michael Taffy, another Westlake senior from here in Austin, is an unrated defensive back. David Aviara, a senior from Mansfield Legacy High School in Mansfield, Texas, a 3-star prospect defensive end. Cole Lord, a quarterback, a senior from Brentwood High School in Los Angeles, California, another 3-star prospect. I'd like to welcome the new recruits to the 40 Acres. I'm looking forward to seeing you develop and play in the upcoming season. The eyes of Texas are upon you, and Mama Longhorn will be paying close attention to see how you add to the team. And yes, I will. And finally, I'd like to recognize the future talent upcoming to the 2022 season. So far, we have 6. There'll be more where that came from, though. Stick around, folks. Jalen Gilbo, a cornerback of 2 sports. Yes, folks, a 2-sport athlete, football and track and field. A 4-star rated prospect from Memorial High School in Port Arthur, Texas. He committed back in September of 2020 to UT. Armani Winfield, a 4-star rated wide receiver from Louisville High School in Louisville, Texas. Jaden Blue, a 4-star running back from Klein Cain High School in Houston. He'll be a force. Evan Stewart, a 4-star wide receiver from Liberty High School there in Frisco, Texas. And the big kahuna, folks, that everyone is so excited about is Malik Murphy, a 5-star quarterback from Junipero Serra High School in Gardena, California. Welcome aboard, guys. And these are so far 6 recruits. Did I leave one out? Travell Johnson, a 3-star rated defensive inside linebacker from Martin High School, Arlington, Texas. Sorry about that, Travell. Those are our 6 so far recruits for 2022. I do keep up with the rest of this recruiting. Let's see, I believe there may be a few slots left. I'm not sure, but as soon as I find out, I will be passing that along. I do keep up with the next year and the current, and then the next year after that. So there will be more added to that 2022 list. And as soon as I can get 2023 started, I will certainly talk about that. But anyway, thank you for watching tonight. Thank you for joining me in my 30th edition of In the Burnt Orange Corral with Mama Longhorn. And as Mama Longhorn, I want to say thank you for everyone's support, to all my fans, all my friends, and all my family. Thank you, and good night. Hook 'em horns.